Terry Nickerson.
And I'm Quinn Taggart.
And this is Outside My Window. Ignite Atlantic brings people together to explore how to make change possible in rural communities. Joining us in this program again is Wade Cleveland from Ignite Labs in Yarmouth. Wade, it's great to have you back on our podcast.
It is a pleasure to be here.
Just for those who may have missed the original interview, give us a sense of what it's all about. I mean, innovation comes to mind when we think of Ignite.
Oh, certainly. We call ourselves an innovation hub. And what that really is, basically, is a place where everybody can get together and kind of come up with these innovative ideas. We support entrepreneurship. We support business and industry. We also support youth and community. So that's really our four pillars. And what Ignite does is we have our location in Yarmouth, which is at 208 Main Street. And it's also expanded now so that it's in New Glasgow, where there's another innovation hub, and there's a place in Halifax that we have as well that's more facing towards industry. But you can come in if you're a startup, and we will supply mentorship. You can be here. There's a residence here, so you can come and have your work desk here and have all the amenities. And we do all of this. Plus trying to create opportunities for not just entrepreneurs in industry, but for the entire community, to expose them to so many things. We have so much potential here in rural Nova Scotia, and everything we do, it has that focus. So it's all about trying to prove that we can do anything in rural Nova Scotia that can be done in the cities. Sometimes we can do it better, and that this is a place where you can both live and create and make something really special.
And obviously, there was a need for the resources that you folks at Ignite offer to the communities and businesses. Can you talk a bit about that, back in the startup of Ignite here in Yarmouth?
All right. Well, when it comes to startups, what we do, the way things work is when someone has an idea that they can be at any stage, they can come and see us. We'll work with them, help create uh, business plans, things like that. Any kind of an environment that will help them grow. Again, they can kind of get themselves comfortable. They can be there in our facility with access to what we have. Ignite has a lot of various equipment. We have a recording studio. We have 3D printing. We have basic printing. We have very good internet, and we have the connections. And I think of anything, the connections that we have, the partnerships that we make, that's kind of our superpower, because what we can do is help link up someone, whatever that may be, with others, uh, and help them grow their business, be it maybe access to government facilities that will help with funding, or perhaps even venture capitalists that can help with funding, to learning more about how to do things, be it anything from bookkeeping to becoming a better leader, to whatever. We have all of these in one spot. So it becomes a hub where if you're looking to build your business, you come and we can help you.
As you've said, engaging youth is a very important part of and component of what you folks at Ignite Labs in Yarmouth do. And just most recently, you had youth in and some tutors, some mentors, including our friend Quinn here, to learn about video editing and all of that. Can you talk about that?
Well, sure. Let's start with the fact that, like, for us, when it comes to rural Nova Scotia, sometimes the youth are a little bit shortchanged because they don't get the opportunities that you could have in the city. And so we're trying very, very hard to expose youth to anything and everything. And so that's kind of one of the keys to what we do. And again, youth is one of our pillars. There's There's entrepreneurship that we try to expose our people to, our youth to. But really, if you don't get an opportunity to try different things and do it in a hands-on way, it's kind of hard to tell whether you're interested in it or not. And so, what I did over the past while is we've developed this uh, creative arts and music program. We received a little bit of funding for it, and we're kind of rolling that out now. So it's very busy right now when it comes to youth and music and creative arts, and there's going to be more and more of that. In that particular instance, what I did is, and again, it's about the partnerships too. Managed to partner up with Quinn, who of course has years and years and years of production knowledge and experience, and works with MC Media and works with you, and Michael McDonald from Eastlink Community TV. We all got together and we offered this program for youth between the ages of something like 14 and 18 to do some hands-on work with cameras, to learn a little bit about how to do interviews. We even brought in Lyle Goodwin, who is another veteran of what you do with the podcast, who's a movie maker, and we talked about movie making for one of the particular ones we did. So it's all about giving the youth an opportunity to try things out and to try them on for size, and maybe inspire them to move it to the next level. Maybe just get them involved in a volunteer aspect. Again, community TV, MC Media, they're all places also where you can volunteer and you can, I don't know, become more vital a part of your community by taking part in all of this stuff.
One of the things, Wade, a lot of people are trying to hang their hat, I guess, on the next big industry to come to town, right? I mean, we had the cotton mill, that was gone. We had the tin mine, unfortunately, that's gone as well. And really, that's not going to happen, I don't think, anytime soon. So, I mean, it makes sense to focus on the smaller to medium market businesses and opportunities within rural communities as a whole in order to really bolster the local area. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. Here's the thing: we have fisheries, which is our lifeblood. And you can build on fisheries technology. You can build on any of that and not really change the face of what you're doing. There's so many opportunities here within that industry. So that industry we have here. There's tourism. And tourism is another industry that, well, it's had its knocks and goes up and down. But there are so many opportunities for people to kind of fill voids and build that industry, but they're all doing it individually. I don't believe that we're ever going to see a Dominion Textile or a Michelin, for that matter, coming into town to be the sole employer or the main employer for this particular area. The secret to it is a whole series of smaller businesses that you can build. It's funny, I remember when, and this has stuck with me for years, when Dominion Textiles shut down and they were using for a period of time the spot itself as a hub to create other industries. And Phil Mooney, who was mayor at the time, said, I'd be just as happy to see 10 businesses employing 30 people as one business employing 300. And it really is the truth. And this place has so much potential. And rural Nova Scotia has so much potential because you can do anything here now. And so those are the secrets that rural Nova Scotia has to latch onto, that you can create your own business, or with help, you can build on someone else's and create these pockets where you can have this employment. And if you build enough of them, then there's plenty of work for everybody, and they're all small, and one breaking down isn't going to collapse the economy, and there's always strength. It makes a much stronger economy and a much more vibrant area.
One of the things that comes to mind, of course, and it is a bit of a, I guess you call it a negative, but it seems like it's getting a little better is, one of the backbones of today's environment, regardless of what industry you're in, is the internet. And it's become more so a need rather than a want. And I mean, I know we have, excuse me, the rural internet programs and the like, but I think we're still a little short on that, don't you think?
I do. I think that needs to be built on, and that's more of a, I guess these days it's more of a government thing that they're doing these programs to try to expand. Although I'd like to see more industry step up to make that a reality as well. One of our strengths, one of the things that we have at Ignite is good internet in order for people from the other parts of the region that they can come and locate themselves. So even coworkers, we have co-working spaces, and what co-working is in the same way that a resident can come and kind of build their business at Ignite. A coworker can come and say they're working for a company out of Montreal or of anywhere. You can come and rent a desk at Ignite and uh, access all of our programming. You can access the internet. You can access our boardrooms and our meeting spaces in order to do be a part of a larger company and do it right from Ignite. And we have quite a few of those that are there now. And actually, anytime anybody's interested in doing that, they can come and find out more about it. But yeah, we need stronger internet because, as we've proven through COVID, um, you can work anywhere if you have good, solid, reliable, fast internet. So, I mean, there are plenty of people at Ignite who are working for companies in many different places, and they're working in Nova Scotia, in rural Nova Scotia, in Yarmouth, and in the area. And you get you get the perfect mix because you get to work for a major company, but you also get the lifestyle that's small town and rural. And many are choosing that lifestyle. And so you get a better mix. And so that's one of our strengths.
I know that there was a bit of a spike of folks from Ontario migrating east during COVID, A, for the lifestyle, and B, for, cost of living, I guess, and real estate at the time. I know that it's kind of gone up and down as things gone by as well. But, and that's the thing. Like the company that I work for, my day job, I could be anywhere. I could be on a beach in Cuba as long as I've got reliable internet. I'm fine. And as long as I can get my work done, then my bosses are fine with that. And certainly, I think there were a lot of jobs that people didn't think could be a work from home opportunity. COVID kind of put us into a position where, oh well, now we have to make some adjustments. Similar fashion, of course, with education, right? Um, I mean, we've had a couple of snow days in the last little bit, but technically, I guess with the online learning, um, that might be a thing of the past.
Very much so. That's kind of, again, one of the strengths of rural Nova Scotia and rural areas. As long as you have that good, strong internet, then you can create industry from anywhere, literally, and you can work from anywhere, literally. And that's going to be a key because our beauty isn't just a tourist attraction. You can have people come and visit in a it's funny how things work. You want the tourists to come down, and then you want them to come down because it's beautiful. But some of those tourists can come down and say, I could live here. And that's the secret. If you have the resources to make it possible for them to come and live here and still work, then you have it made.
Well, certainly that's a draw for us recruiting doctors and healthcare professionals, which we desperately need, is being able for them to do some sort of virtual tour of the area, as well as, of course, to be able to visit and be shown around. So maybe speak a little bit more about, you call yourself a hub. Therefore, in my mind, I see spokes. And because I'm thinking a wheel. And so you have the ability to point people in a whole slew of different directions. that are partners or resources or contacts or whichever that are available to you. You know people in different places that can help people out.
Yes, exactly. We have that ability because we are connected with many different organizations, not just government organizations, but private organizations. And so if you have issues, we often have the ability to kind of match you up with whomever can help you the most. And so again, that's kind of one of the secrets that we have. It's not much of a secret, really. It's kind of an open secret, I suppose. But that is one of the things that we have access to all of those people, and we can kind of link people up together. And part of what we do sometimes, a couple of times a year, sometimes even more, is try to create environments where we can all get together and be social, be it the beginners with the industry people, with the government people, and put them all together in rooms and see what happens. It's like putting a bunch of people together and just saying, okay, here you go. Let's make some connections. And those connections are really the secret of getting further in whatever you happen to want to do.
One of the things, of course, that you guys have been known for in the last little while is your events, right? So we talked a bit about the video course, but you've got a whole slew of different little events that are on the go. I say little, but I mean, some of them are pretty big. One of which, unfortunately, got kind of moved around due to weather, which is the Game Jam. So can you speak a little bit about that and when that's been rescheduled for?
Oh, certainly. Okay, so Game Jam Next is what we're doing. Game Jam is a worldwide competition, if you will, for people who want to design games, be they video games or board games. And gaming, as I'm sure you know, Quinn, and there are certainly listeners here because of YCon. YCon here in Yarmouth is very strong, and they do a lot of gaming. Gaming and just in general is huge. It's a big industry. It's a kind of an opportunity to be creative. It's fun and generates an awful lot of money too. So what Game Jam Next is kind of the smaller, younger version. I don't want to say smaller so much as the younger version of that. So we had planned across the province Game Jam Next event for February. And what it was going to do was be set up for the younger group, grades between 7 and 12, grades 7 and 12, that could all get together at different locations. There was Halifax, New Glasgow, and Yarmouth. And we were to have a competition, just a 1 day long competition. We would try to show people how to do some video designing, game designing, using different programs like Scratch and things like that, and have them create either a video game or a board game, and then kind of have prizes at the end. It's all about exercising those creative muscles. And it was successful for every place but Yarmouth because that was the big storm that we had. It was stormy in other areas, but here it was so bad we had to unfortunately cancel the event. And so what we've done is rescheduled. It's going to be just in Yarmouth. It's going to be on Saturday, the 1st of April, and it's going to be at Ignite here in Yarmouth. Again, it's still for grades 7 to 12. And we've enlisted, again, it's all about partners. We've enlisted the help of the YCon group who do a lot of gaming. I've enlisted Josh Robertson, who is a local designer of games who had been out of town for about a year and is back again. But he has a company called Winter Garden who designs and releases board games. So he's going to be part of it as well. And he has some video experience as well as board game experience. And we still have the sponsors and the supporters that we had originally, which is Shift Key Labs and Dalhousie University. And Shift Key is actually part of the Dalhousie University, and some volunteers will be coming down as part of that. So on the 1st of April, from 9 a.m. through until 3 p.m., there's going to be opportunity for kids to get together. They can do it as groups, they can do it separately, whatever they want, and design games. If you bring your laptop, you can work on video games. If you If you want to do board games, we're going to have equipment there set up for you, resources for you to design your games. It's a very tight window because it takes a long time to put these things together. But by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we hope to have everybody playing everybody else's. There's going to be some prizes. Somebody's going to be winning a Nintendo Switch, which is pretty significant. And the favorite game, be it video or board, will win a pass to the YCon convention, which is happening in early June, and they'll get to, if they wish to, speak on a panel about gaming and game design. So it's going to be a really fun day. It's going to be really great, I think. And so if anyone is interested and they're listening, just go to our website, go to igniteatlantic.com, or find us on Facebook because the links are all there too. And just click on the link and register, and you can come in on the 1st of April.
That sounds like a fantastic event.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. We're really excited. We put together an entire series of creative events because to us, the way we're thinking about it is in order for kids to learn to be innovative, they kind of have to exercise those creative muscles. And so, again, I've talked about this before, but we put together this music and creative arts program, and there's a whole series of events that are going to be running through over the next while to kind of help exercise those creative muscles in science, STEAM, which is science, technology, engineering. The A is arts and M is math. And we do a lot of work with the Discovery Center out of Halifax to produce some of that stuff. And through other organizations, we have Music Nova Scotia and, of course, Nova Scotia Music Week coming to Yarmouth in November, first time since 2015. What Music Nova Scotia is concentrating on mostly these days is those up and comers and the opportunity to showcase. And that's a lot of what the Nova Scotia Music Week is going to be about this time through. Well, what better opportunity to have than to use this as an opportunity to build a bit of a creative community for musicians here. There are tons of great musicians all through this region. And on the French shore, the Parambas side, and on the Clare side, you have a lot that are doing original French material as well. In the middle here in Yarmouth, still have some great original artists, but many less when it comes to writing your own songs, that kind of thing. And so that's another one of the things that we're tackling. Before we did this videography course, we had a showcase. We brought in Music Nova Scotia to do a showcase, how to showcase instruction on how to do any kind of showcasing and what it takes, and kind of a primer on what Music Nova Scotia does. And that happened in February. And we had a nice crowd there, all people who are very talented, who are interested in perhaps taking songwriting and musicianship to the next level. And so that was a nice beginning, and I was hoping that it would create kind of interest in building from there. And what do you know, it kind of did. So we had discussions after that session ran about perhaps creating songwriter circles and giving youth of all ages, actually, the opportunity to show their wares, talk about their music, and for those in the audience, perhaps to be A, entertained, but B, inspired maybe to do your own songwriting. And so the very first of those songwriting circles is going to be coming up in March as well. It's going to be on the 24th of March. It's a Friday night from 7 until 9, right at Ignite, free for all ages. It's going to be featuring some local songwriters, including Mark Durkee and Amy Hirschfeld's going to be there. Cliff Dion is going to be there. And a gentleman from Montreal originally, who's now based here, who does jazz and some acoustic stuff, a guy by the name of Rich Below. He's going to be there as well. And that's going to be the start of something. I'm hoping to do a whole series of songwriter circles and create something really great there. So it's all about matching up people and perhaps creating these small communities and seeing what comes of it.
I think that when you look towards the talent in the community, it's got to start from the ground up. I mean, a lot of older folks are kind of hanging out on certain genres of music and entertainment, but the younger folks are tied in with a much different crowd and a much different beat, I guess, if you want to go down that road. But the roots of how things are put together haven't really changed much.
Yeah, absolutely. It's true. It all comes from inspiration, the beginnings, the fearlessness. It's brave to create your own stuff, and to perform it in public because you're very vulnerable when you're vulnerable when you're creating something that came from yourself and showing it to other people. There's that fear of rejection, and so if you can create a safe space, you can start building from there. And again, that's one of the things that we're working on.
And it's more than just the internet. I mean, people, kind of hang their head on TikTok and Facebook and Twitter and the social media channels, but there's more to it than just that. I mean, certainly during COVID, we did a lot of stuff on social media because we couldn't get together. But that physical contact and having the ability to sit down and chat with folks and roll through a few ideas without judgment, without critique, and without the trolls gives you an advantage of being able to move forward.
Yeah, in whatever genre you're into, whatever creative field you're into, whatever industry you're into, whatever crazy idea that you have that you think may be the next big thing when it comes to business, being able to go to somebody, tell them your idea, and feel safe about exposing yourself in that way and building from there is huge. And that's what Ignite is.
There's no idea too crazy.
No, and that's kind of the exciting part of it.
Yeah.
That ability to kind of create, because innovation comes from within. And I find that with the youth, uh, I just sounded like an old guy with calling them the youth. But anyway, um, with 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 this generation and maybe generations before, when it comes to school, sometimes school is wonderful, but there's a structure to school that almost beats that creativity out of you to a degree. And so with youth, we're trying very hard to kind of put that creativity and that inspiration and that willingness to try new things and that fearlessness back in and give them that safe space where they can create something, whatever it might be.
Speaking of school, over the last while that you've been at Ignite, how much have you learned?
Every day. Every day there's something new. Every day there's a new person to meet. Every day there's a new idea. It's been a heck of a ride, and it's going to continue to be so, but it really is very, very exciting.
So tell us a little bit about some of the other events you've got coming up. We'll give you the floor to kind of roll through part of your agenda over the next couple of months.
Oh my gosh. Well, we've got a lot of things going on, and the creative arts stuff is continuing on. During March break, we have some creativity. Yep, sign up now. What I put together is a Science of music camp. It's that's Discovery Center who's going to be helping me with this one. We're putting it together. It's a 3-day music camp for kids between the ages of 9 and 14. So it's going to be happening on the Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of March break. It's March 14th through the 16th. And what we're going to do each of those 3 days is talk about and show and give kids the opportunity to play with music, So you're going to be able to build your own instruments. You're going to find out the science behind that. You're going to get to come in the studio with me and do some recording, record podcasts or do interviews or just have the kids talk and sing and be able to edit. So we're going to go over all of that. We're going to bring in some musicians to play to the kids. And more than that, and thank goodness we have this group here, Dave and Judy Durkee and the Music Room exists here in Yarmouth. And Dave has volunteered to come in with a whole variety of instruments because what the music room does is they're almost a library for musical instruments here in Yarmouth where kids of all ages, I believe, can borrow and try out and use various instruments. And he has an enormous amount of them, from horn instruments to guitars to keyboards to violins and fiddles to whatever. It's all there, drum kits. And so he's going to bring a whole bunch of that stuff in, let the kids play with them hands on, and we'll show the science behind all of that as well. It is going to be an absolute ball, and it's kind of exciting. So you can find details on that also on our page. That's a very expensive one that we've had to put together, and I do have some sponsorship. I wanted to say a big thank you to the Rotary Club here in Yarmouth, who is co-sponsoring it. And even with the sponsorship, we're charging, unfortunately, $75 per child in order to go do this. But it's going to be an absolutely fantastic 3-day creativity part. In New Glasgow, we're doing creativity and creative writing through that same period. We have, as mentioned before, we have Game Jam that's coming up. We're going to be having our start of our beginning of summer social, which is going to be happening in May this year. We are working on, oh my goodness, we're working on different programs for aquaculture and the science of aquaculture that we're just starting to talk about now. We're going to be matching entrepreneurs with industry, with food waste challenges. While we've done food waste, we're going to be doing forestry waste challenges, looking at byproducts. We're going to be doing fisheries waste products and trying to figure out ways that creatively we can cut down on waste and use that stuff and match them up with different industries. There's a lot going on here, and more coming. We're going to be doing photography. We're going to be doing podcast seminars on how to podcast and how to get everything set up and how to do interviews and that kind of thing. So that's going to be tackled a little bit further down the road. There's a lot that's going to be happening.
That's all fantastic stuff.
Yeah, it's a big plate, but we're ready to go and we're pretty excited about it.
As you and Quinn were talking about earlier, COVID changed everything for everybody, really. But a lot of people looked for something different to do to bring income into the household. So you had a lot of startup businesses at home. I know people who started raising honeybees or making home meals and selling them online and all of that. Is there such a thing, Wade, as a business that is too small to approach Ignite?
Oh, absolutely not. No. We are here to help. We are here to. That not all businesses end up a resident. Now that's a whole different thing. And working out of your house is perfectly fine. But we'd love for anybody with a business idea to come and talk to us because maybe we can match them up with someone to grow it that much larger. Um, Perhaps there's a problem you're running into that you need some mentorship for that we can offer. We're here to help, and we'd love to talk to you about whatever idea you may have.
And I think that, that's the important part is that, it's a safe place for people to come in and just bounce ideas.
Absolutely. I think that's a very important thing to have, and that's an important resource to be able to access whenever you need to. We're doing lots of big things, but small things are important too. Again, every business, every venture creates economy, and it creates money, and it creates job flow. You can be employed if you have a business and you're self-employed, that's one person. That's one more person that's contributing to the economy in an important way. And so you build on these and you create bunches of these and again, that's how you create these vibrant communities.
Now, you wear a few hats of your own as a municipal councillor and on the board of directors for the Mariner Center and so on. So, eh, are you able to cross leverage all of that experience together?
Well, that's a good question. The experience certainly. You always have to be careful, keeping the hats as separate as possible. But yes, there's lots of opportunity, and you know what? We have great partners on a municipal level because the municipalities really see what we're doing, and then that's crucial because on a municipal level, that's the grassroots. That's how you build businesses through municipal support. And so we start there, and we also have lots of connections within the provincial government and even indeed federally. I've often spoken to various senators and ministers federally, provincially. We have lots of great organizations that we work with, and that basic municipal government piece that that supports and believes in what we're trying to do, and that we can kind of help each other out um, in whatever is necessary. And so it really goes well that way.
What about education? Are you tied in with like NSCC and the high schools and so on to try to be able to leverage opportunities there? Because you're talking about youth, that only makes sense that they be able to get support at that level.
Well, did you realize that actually Ignite started at the local NSCC? And yes, we have the NSCC as a partner. So we do a lot of work with the NSCC. Not so much with the high school right now, but that's probably something that's going to be growing. I'll talk about actually something that's coming up in the summertime that you should be aware of, but just hold that thought for a moment before I finish this one. But the other part too is the Discovery Center and our association there. The Discovery Center, of course, is based out of Halifax, and it deals with STEAM, which is, again, as I mentioned before, about science, technology, arts, math, engineering. And they are, as their mandate, uh, spreading knowledge and giving kids the opportunity for hands-on. And so we work closely with those guys as we develop different programming and stuff. So that's a strong part of what we do on an education side. But there's a huge education aspect to it. Now, to get back to what I was saying about high school, it brought to mind something that we've been working on that we did very successfully in New Glasgow last year, that we will be developing this year for Yarmouth and again for New Glasgow. And what it's called is Up and Atom, Atom being spelled ATOM, so it's a bit of a pun. And what we hope to do with that, and what we did very successfully in New Glasgow, is during the summer, we would offer a summer camp um, and it would be the science of sport. And so half of the day would be spent out on the fields, maybe playing soccer. Last year we had the Halifax uh, Wanderers associated with it, and we actually had um, so professional soccer players who would play with the kids. We also had St. FX University involved up into Glasgow, where we had college level basketball players, and we would do basketball. So half of the day would be sports oriented, and then the other half of the day would be the science behind everything that they did before. So everything from kinesiology to physics to all of that put on by the Discovery Center. And what you do is you take two different groups of kids, you split them in half, and in the morning, one group goes on the fields and does sports, and the other group does science, and then you flip them and vice versa. It goes the other way. It was extremely successful in Glasgow, and we hope to have that opportunity to do that in Yarmouth, and that would be in association with the high school and with other partners as well. So that's another great opportunity that we're trying to offer. So as as sports is important, you get the mix, you get the science behind it as well.
It's relatable.
Of course.
And I know that, at the MC Media Group, we've been able to, pardon the pun, tap into the TAP program and the co-op students available through the school to be able to come in and volunteer with us to do video production at the center. I know that Michael at Eastlink Community TV has done the same. That's what I think of when I think trying to get the youth involved in the community in something that's tangible. I know myself when I was going through school, I was really good at memorizing and regurgitation, which seemed to be what got me through. But then when you get out into the quote unquote real world, it was like, oh, crap, I'm very ill equipped for this. And I tried university for a year. That didn't work out. But I went to NSCC and managed to get some hands-on stuff. And that's where it kind of clicked for me, was being able to have that hands-on. So you were talking earlier about trying something out and seeing if you like it. And that's certainly something that the co-op program excels at within the community. But I mean, it's to get the kids out and about and let them, take a shot at video production or whatever it is that may interest them in furthering their education.
Absolutely. It could be anything. And you really don't know until you try something. And maybe you have it in your mind that there is something there that you want to try. Let's give them the opportunity to do just that. And that's kind of the key to the whole thing.
Any final words, Wade, for Ignite Labs? If let's just recap how people can get a hold of you, and if they have any questions or ideas, what's the best way to reach out?
Well, there's always going to my email. That's probably the easiest way to do it, and it's very easy. It's my name, Wade, W-A-D-E, at igniteatlantic.com. Feel free to drop in at almost any time through the week. Business hours are from 9 o'clock until 4 o'clock. Most of the time we're there and ready to go. And, we'd love to give you a tour and give you an opportunity to kind of see what we have to offer and talk about some of the great things that we do. We love to talk about all the great things that we do at Ignite. You can also check us out online on our social media. We're on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and all of those fun places. So there's that. And of course, igniteatlantic.com, our actual page. And I also want to remind people that I do a monthly podcast called Ignited, which kind of celebrates all the things we're talking about here, be it the stories of rural entrepreneurs and their success stories, or we talk about things that are important to the area when it comes to kind of developing economy. So all of that. We're just starting up our second season, and there's lots there. So you can find us wherever you can find different podcasts, be it Amazon or Apple or Google or whatever you happen to use. And you can find links to that on social media and at igniteatlantic.com.
I'm so impressed with everything that Ignite Labs does, Wade, and it's just so impressive, the partnerships and innovation and all of that with so many segments of our community, and you're all to be commended for that. And beyond that is the positive message that you send out. You were mentioned at the beginning of our podcast, and that's so important. We always hear the negative, but Yarmouth is vibrant, and you folks are certainly a testament, and I can't wait to see what comes next. Every time I see your post from Ignite, it's always something new, and it's like, wow, these guys are on fire. No pun intended, but it's just awesome. Wade, thanks so much for chatting with us today.
It was an honor. It's always fun to talk anytime. I'm happy to talk about Ignite. I'm happy to talk to you guys about anything you want to talk about.
I'm Gary Nickerson.
And I'm Quinn Taggart.
And this has been Outside My Window.